Today I've brought you the story of a Korean zombie movie that everyone knows, Train to Busan. I'm sure many of you have already watched this film, and honestly, I don't usually cover bloody or violent movies on my channel, but this isn't just any ordinary zombie movie. There's a touching story at its heart. The story begins with a mini truck driver whose truck is sanitized with a spray and then sent forward. After driving a little way, his truck hits a deer. At first glance, the deer seems dead, but after the truck leaves, a little while later, the deer strangely stands up again. But this time, the deer isn't the same as before. Its eyes look kind of cloudy. Anyway, the scene then cuts to a stock market company manager named Suk-woo. So throughout the whole movie, we'll call him Suk. He orders one of his junior colleagues to sell all the shares of the biotech chemical company. Even though his colleague gives several reasons not to sell those shares, Suk remains absolutely firm in his decision. In a calm voice, he says, "Sell them." Anyway, that day, Suk buys a gift for his daughter and heads home. Actually, Suk and his wife got divorced a few months ago, but he and his daughter lived together with his own mother. And today was his only daughter Suin's birthday. When Suk presents the gift he bought to his daughter, Suin gets even more upset because it's the same gift her dad had given her before. And poor Suin, having to live apart from her mom, insists to her dad that she wants to go see her mother, tomorrow no less. Since Suk is always busy with the stock market, he can't really spend much time with his daughter. So, as a birthday present, he agrees to take his daughter to her mother in Busan the next day. As expected, the next day he sets out for the train station with his daughter. But on the way, they witness several accidents happening in the city. Still, thinking it's nothing unusual, the father and daughter board the train. But just before the train leaves the station, a girl without a ticket runs onto the train. And this was the start of their worst nightmare. Because for some reason, the girl had several cuts and wounds on her leg when she boarded the train. Soon after the train departs, Suk falls asleep, so his little daughter Suin goes to the bathroom alone, leaving her dad behind. Meanwhile, the girl with the wounded leg starts to get seriously ill. A female train attendant rushes over to help her, but by then, the sick girl had already turned into a zombie. She immediately attacks the attendant, and in the blink of an eye, the attendant also becomes a zombie. One becomes two become four, and soon chaos erupts throughout the whole carriage. By now, Suk wakes up and, not seeing his daughter beside him, frantically starts searching for her. Eventually, he finds Suin in front of the bathroom, quickly grabs her, and runs to a safe carriage in the back. And behind them, hundreds of zombies are coming. But since the door is closed, the zombies can't get in. They just scream and bang on the glass, staring at the people inside. In that carriage, there's a pregnant woman named Som. She splashes water on the glass door and sticks newspaper on it, so the zombies won't keep banging on the door so much. The pregnant woman's husband is named Yeon Sang. Now that things have calmed down a bit, the train conductor uses the train's radio communicator to inform everyone that it's not possible to take the train all the way to Busan. Because of the terrible situation across the country, the train will only go as far as Daegu Station. But there are lots of soldiers there for their safety, so there's no reason to worry. Now, they continue toward Daegu Station. But during the journey, one passenger overhears on the phone that Daegu Station isn't actually safe at all. Suk overhears this conversation, so he calls one of his clients to find out if Daegu Station is really safe. Suk tells him, "I'll give you lots of expensive shares for free. Please help us get out of Daegu Station safely." His client says, "Okay, then don't go out through the main gate. Use the small east gate instead. I'll pick you up from there." After a long journey, the train finally arrives at Daegu Station. The passengers get off and see the station is completely deserted. Everyone starts heading out through the main gate, but Suk wants to take his daughter out through the small east gate. Just then, a crazy man who had overheard Suk's phone conversation follows behind him. And now, an army officer starts coming toward them on the east side. Hoping for help, first the crazy man, then Suk himself run toward the officer. But then they see a terrifying scene. Behind the army officers, there are more zombie army officers rushing at them. Meanwhile, thousands of zombies attack the passengers trying to leave through the main gate. Everyone runs for their lives. Many people die here, And now, right then, a zombie attacks the little girl Suan, who was standing alone, but at that moment, Sang comes and saves Suan. In this zombie attack, almost all the members of a school baseball team traveling with them on the train are killed, except for one boy and his girlfriend Kim. Now, Seok, Sang, and that high school boy bravely hold off the zombies and help the remaining passengers get back to the train. To save their lives, the healthy passengers scramble into different carriages in a rush. Meanwhile, the train conductor discusses with a man named COO that Busan is actually the only safe city left, where the infection hasn't spread yet. So they set off for Busan. After a lot of effort, Seok, Sang, and the high school student manage to catch up and board the train. Once on the train, Sang calls his wife and finds out that his pregnant wife and Su's daughter Suan are hiding in the bathroom of carriage 13. The high school boy calls his girlfriend and learns that she too is safe in another carriage with several people. The boy tells his girlfriend Kim, "We're coming to your carriage." Kim gets really happy and tells the others in her carriage that her friends are coming. But Koo, who was in that carriage, was a very selfish man. He tells everyone on the train, "We won't let anyone from outside into this safe carriage. What guarantee do we have that they won't bite us or infect us?" Anyway, meanwhile, Suk, Sang, and the high school boy get ready to make their way to carriage 13. Like true daredevils, they fight their way forward, taking down every zombie that comes at them. Just then, the train enters a tunnel. The three of them notice that inside the dark carriage, the zombies can't see anything at all. They're just standing there like statues. Taking advantage of the zombies' blindness, they slowly make their way to Suan's carriage. There, they join Suan, the pregnant woman, and an elderly lady and start moving forward together. But just then, while trying to save a crazy man in that carriage, Suk gets spotted by the zombies. They all run toward the safe carriage, but before they can fully close the door, the zombies wedge their hands, feet, and heads in, blocking it. Sang holds the door with all his strength, while Suk fights off the zombies. On the other side of the door are the rest of the healthy passengers. Even though the high school boy desperately shouts for help, no one responds. No one opens the door. Instead, they cover his girlfriend Kim's mouth and lock the door even tighter. The boy keeps banging on the door with his baseball bat, making a last-ditch effort to save themselves. But just then, a zombie bites Sang, who is holding the door. Right in front of his wife's eyes, Sang slowly starts turning into a zombie. At the very last moment, the high school boy manages to break down the door to the other carriage, but by then, the door Sang was holding gives way and the zombies attack him. Even in his final moments, Sang uses all his strength to hold back the zombies, saving his unborn child and his wife's life. Barely alive, a few of them manage to reach the safe carriage, but the elderly lady with them and Sang are killed by the zombies. Once they reach the safe carriage, Sok attacks the selfish COO, telling him, "Because of you, those two died. If you had opened the door earlier, they would have survived." But the COO tells everyone in the carriage they might be infected. Send them all to another carriage or they'll kill us all. The rest of the people in the carriage band together and try to send the high school boy, Sok, his daughter Suan, Sang's pregnant wife, and the crazy man to the next carriage. The high school boy's girlfriend tells him, "I want to go with you too, take me with you." So the six of them move to the next carriage. But one woman sitting in the safe carriage looks very upset. The woman who died with Sang before entering this carriage was actually her own sister. She lost her sister because of the selfish people in this carriage. Wanting to teach them a lesson, she goes forward and opens the door to the zombie-filled carriage. Instantly, chaos descends on the selfish people, and almost everyone is killed. Now the train stops, and the conductor announces over the radio that the tracks ahead are damaged. The train can't go any further. He says, "I'm going to Busan on a train to the left. Anyone who can hear and understand me, head to the train on the left." Meanwhile, the selfish man and a railway official who had survived the chaos by hiding in the bathroom hear the conductor's message. The selfish man pushes the railway official into the zombies and escapes on his own. Meanwhile, Sok's group heads toward the train on the left. But just then, a burning train comes speeding in and crashes into their train in a terrible accident. Because of the crash, everyone gets separated. The high school boy and his girlfriend try to head left by grabbing onto a train's handle. They desperately try to open the door, but suddenly from behind, that selfish man enters the carriage. He pushes the high school boy's girlfriend, Kim, in front of the zombies and escapes on his own. But even in this situation, the high school boy doesn't leave his girlfriend behind. When he tries to help his girlfriend, who is turning into a zombie, she bites him on the neck. and that's where their journey ends. Now, the selfish man runs for his life, but he twists his ankle and falls right on the railway tracks. Seeing this, the train conductor, with a pure heart, comes to help him. But even after being bitten himself, the selfish man pushes the conductor into the zombies and runs off to board the train on the left. The poor conductor dies right there. On the other side, we see Seok. The four of them are now trapped in a place where a zombie-filled train has collapsed on top of them. Risking his life, Seok manages to get out with his daughter and Song's wife. But suddenly, the glass of the train above them shatters, and all the zombies start falling on them. Seeing this, the crazy man sacrifices himself, letting the zombies take him so that the father, daughter, and pregnant woman can escape. The three of them run desperately and manage to catch the train to Busan, but the zombies don't give up the chase. Hundreds of zombies follow them, all clinging to the train's railing together. With so many zombies hanging on, the train's speed starts to drop, but somehow Seok manages to kick the zombies off and free the train. Now, when Seok enters the conductor's cabin, he finds that the selfish man has already turned into a zombie. Seok has a terrifying fight with him, but in the end, Seok manages to throw him off the train. However, before falling, the man bites Seok's hand. Seeing the bite, Seok realizes his time has come to leave his daughter behind. Their journey has reached its end. So, while he's still conscious, he puts his daughter and Song's wife in the conductor's room. Poor Suen doesn't want to let go of her father. Even through her tears, she wants to keep him with her. But Seok's time is up. He leaves his daughter and stands at the very end of the train. On one side, his daughter's heart-wrenching cries. On the other, a father's immense pain as he turns into a zombie. Even at that moment, Seok remembers the first time he held his daughter, the first time he saw her sweet face. Lost in these memories, he jumps off the train himself, sacrificing his life to save his daughter. Now, we see Song's wife and Suan both make it to Busan. There, the army has set up barricades and is waiting with guns. At first, they almost shoot them, thinking they're zombies, but then they realize the two are actually human. Suan, lost in her father's memory, sings a song after losing him. Hearing her song, the soldiers realize they're healthy humans and rescue them. The story pretty much ends here. But if we try to find out how the virus actually spread, so we can directly blame Seok. Yes, you heard that right. The hero of this story, Siwon's father, Seok, is actually responsible for all this destruction. Because in the opening scene, there's a part where Seok sells his shares. He did this intentionally to make extra profit. And when Seok sold all the shares of that biotech company, the company suffered a massive loss. At that time, the company was working on a dangerous virus. Because of such a huge loss, they couldn't spend much on safety measures for their virus project. As a result, the virus leaked. This is the same virus mentioned to the mini truck driver at the start of the movie, which is why he was sanitized. Basically, that deer was also infected by the leaked virus and turned into a zombie. So that's the main story. I actually didn't plan to tell this one, since many people have already covered it, but I still did it because there aren't any Korean movies on my channel. Secondly, a lot of people requested zombie movies, so let me know in the comments how you liked the story.